Hello. My name is Mac. My pronouns are she, they, and I have COVID. Temperature reads 97.9, pulse ox reads 98, and pulse is 139. I'm wearing a forest green Henley and my clear pink glasses. My dark brown shoulder length hair is down and somewhat blow dried out, so it's not as curly as normal. I'm very out of breath. My background is a mostly white wall with an orange painting behind me. Whew. I'm drinking 40 ounces of electrolytes in this giant pink cup. Get something to hydrate too. I'm sucking on a candy, a lifesaver, because I just started Paxlovid. Ooh, an influencer, Paxlovid. And if you haven't had Paxlovid before, one of the side effects is you get a very metallic taste in your mouth. So I'm sucking on a candy to prevent that, or to combat that taste. I decided to film this video, honestly, because I'm way too out of breath, fatigued and brain foggy to actually sit down and edit more of the Roulette's vlog that I'm working on. There's just so much footage from that weekend that I'm so excited to share, and it requires a lot of editing, and my brain and body cannot handle that right now. But I've been FaceTiming some people, so I figure I just well just sit here like I'm FaceTiming you and tell you that I have COVID and the story of all of the hoops I've had to jump through to get Paxlovid. It's so crazy. The only other time that I've had COVID was in 2022, right before Thanksgiving. And when I had my teledoc appointment back then, I explained all my symptoms. I explained my underlying conditions at the time. And they prescribed me Paxlovid. And it helped tremendously. COVID knocks me out pretty hard. And Paxlovid really, really helped mitigate those symptoms so that I could recover without my symptoms getting so bad that you end up hospitalized. That's what Paxlovid is for, is to help sort of reduce your symptoms and reduce your viral load while you're recovering. So I figured it would be the same this time. I scheduled a teledoc appointment, explained all my underlying conditions and my current symptoms, and unfortunately, she couldn't give me a prescription for Paxlovid because of two things that I said. One, I said that I have POTS, even though I don't have an official diagnosis. I haven't undergone the tilt table test, and I told her this. My cardiologist has just said to me that he's 99% sure that I have POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And she said still that is enough to operate under the assumption that I have POTS. And two, I said that I have mild, but I do have shortness of breath, which you can probably tell I have to take like very, very big breaths partway through sentences to even get through a sentence. I have to take more deep breaths than normal. So because I have shortness of breath and because I most likely have POTS, the combination of those two things disqualify me from getting Paxlovid without an in-person physical exam. And she said that I could try to go to urgent care, but she was pretty sure that urgent care would send me to the ER, so I might want to just go straight to the ER. I hate going to the ER. And I live in New York City. And to get to an ER, I'm not walking distance from an ER, so I would have to either take public transit or call a car, and I was trying to prevent that, trying to prevent the spread. Even though I would wear my N95, if I could prevent going out and about and infecting more people, I'm going to try to prevent that. So I called an urgent care in my area that is walking distance, explained the situation, and I asked if they could do the physical exam that I need in order to get prescribed Paxlovid. Basically, they need to just like check my heart, check my lungs, make sure that I'm good to go and clear in order to qualify for the medication. They went back and forth, almost had me come, and then the doctor there was so sweet and called me directly and said, I'm so sorry. I don't want you to have to come all the way over here just for me to end up sending you to the ER. I think you need to just go straight there. Even though I said my shortness of breath is very mild, even my POTS is like, I would say moderate. I have all the symptoms of POTS, but I don't actually faint. Didn't matter. So finally, I decided to go to the ER. And when I tell you, it was a show. I get to the ER. I took a car there, had the windows rolled down, had my N95 on. I'm using my cane because it's the least cumbersome of my mobility aids, and I was assuming I'd be able to get a wheelchair at the hospital, whatever. So I hobble on in, go to the front desk, explain what's happening, and she just has me like wait in the normal waiting room. And I was like, well, I'm positive for COVID. Is there any way I could isolate away from the other people in the waiting room, especially since none of them had masks on? And she said, no, sorry, we don't have that protocol here anymore. You could try to sit a couple seats away. But it was like a pretty packed waiting room. Nobody really had masks on. Maybe 2 people had like thin surgical masks on, but I didn't see anyone else with an N95 on. And I'm like symptomatic, but not as bad as I am today. This was 2 days ago. So I wait and wait and wait. Almost 3 hours, like 2.5 hours. Finally get called in, and I explain to the doctor that sees me, I just need Paxlovid. I did a teledoc appointment, and I spoke to someone at urgent care. Both doctors, unrelated to each other, said that I needed to come into the ER to get cleared in order to get a prescription for Paxlovid. Can you please do that for me? And this sassafras doctor leans into her hip and says, this is an ER. It's for emergencies. And so I just look at her and I was like, okay, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just following doctor's orders. 2 doctors, separate doctors, told me to come in here. I just need a quick physical exam so that I can get prescribed Paxlovid. And she was like, I don't even think we'd give Paxlovid out here. COVID is just a viral infection. You should just stay home and like rest, have some fluids. And I was like, okay, ma'am, I'm chronically ill. Debate on how immunocompromised I am, but clearly my underlying conditions created enough concern for 2 doctors, separate doctors, to send me to an ER. Now I'm here. I don't want to be here just as much as you don't want me here. Can we just figure out a way to like check my heart and lungs so that I could get this prescription? Even if you don't prescribe it, you could just do the tests. Send me with some paperwork that says you did the tests. Let me go talk to my attending. She goes, talks to her attending. I end up crying because I'm so tired, so over it, so fed up. My body is so achy. I feel like absolute garbage. I would love to just lie down and sleep it off, but here we are. One of the nurses or technicians comes in to like do my vitals and whatever. And she's like, oh my God, are you okay? And I explained to her what happened. And she's like, you have COVID? She didn't even tell me you have COVID. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? She was like, thank you so much for wearing an N95. I so appreciate it. Your seal is so good. Da, 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 da. And she like tried to do the tests really quickly and whatever. And I'm like, see, this is the thing. This is an ER. Shouldn't we be taking the utmost precaution? I don't know. So then her attending comes in and she's like so sweet. And she's like, hi, Miss Gomez. I spoke to I don't remember what resident or whatever, and got the full story. Could you tell me as well? So I told her everything again. And she was like, yeah, no problem. We can absolutely run an EKG and chest x-ray, and we can prescribe Paxlovid here. We don't have Paxlovid on hand, but we can write a prescription. I was like, okay, thank you. That's what I thought. She's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We got you. So we did the EKG. It was clear. Chest x-ray was clear as well. And basically, the only thing was that my heart rate was very high, which is very common for me because I have POTS. So that was all fine. There was like no communication between all the different people that were like transferring us from room to room, us being like me and other patients and whatever. And so like I had to keep reminding people like I cannot walk very far. I need a wheelchair. So by the time I'm finally able to leave the hospital, it's been 4 hours. Take some NyQuil, go to sleep, and just hope and pray. Well, the next day I get a notice from the pharmacy that apparently my insurance doesn't work with Duane Reade Walgreens. It has to go through a CVS. The whole thing that I didn't realize, and that was my mistake. Tried to send it to a CVS. They didn't have anything in stock. I had to go around all these different pharmacies. Finally, I found a pharmacy nearby who could get me the Paxlovid the following day. Was able to call the Duane Reade, get it transferred. So by the time I finally got Paxlovid, it has been 48 hours since I first tested positive. Last night was horrible for my symptoms. Finally got Paxlovid today around noon. Today's Friday around noon, and took the first dose. Paxlovid creates a metallic taste in your mouth, but I'll take it because it did wonders for me the last time I was sick. And if I have to suck on candy all day, then I'll suck on candy all day if it means that my symptoms will be mitigated. The ER said just to keep checking my pulse ox and my temperature. I've not gotten a fever yet. The highest was like 99, which isn't even that bad, but I've had a really terrible headache. Very stuffy, runny. My chest and my back hurt really bad, very, very tender. I'm very weak, very fatigued. Sleeping all day, but my pulse ox has been good, my temperature has been good, and they said as long as pulse ox doesn't drop to 92 or lower, I'm fine. So I think the lowest it's been is 95, and that was very brief. For the most part, it's been around 97, 98. So I'm good on that front. I'm hopefully on the mend, and I will be sleeping probably the next few days, trying to recover, and then hopefully next Friday, the next part of my roulettes experience vlog will go live. But I decided to give myself a break and not stare at a screen that long today. So hope you all are doing well. COVID is going around like crazy. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated. And I also want to say I have masked everywhere the past week. I'm always someone who masks on public transit, and I try to mask pretty frequently, but I have to admit I've been somewhat lax in the past, just like with friends and whatever, because I know that my friends are also very careful. We all test very regularly, but I knew that the spikes were kind of all over the country right now, probably all over the world, and so I started to wear my KN95 like everywhere, and I still got it. So stay safe out there, take care of yourselves, and if you are not someone who's immunocompromised, I just implore you to try to think about those who are. If you have any symptoms of allergies or anything at all, just take extra precaution. Stay home or wear a mask. Let's try to keep each other safe. Hopefully nothing gets worse with me. I'm hoping that I recover similarly to the last time that I had COVID. We do have suspicions that maybe I got POTS after the last time I had COVID. Who knows? But I'm really hoping that I avoid long COVID by the mitigations that are now in place for me. Please drink your hydration, whatever it is, electrolytes, water. See you in the next one. Cheers.